Welcome, dear friends, to Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with the spirit of truth, and now Parenting Edition. What is it? The Spirit of Truth is the book, O Espírito da Verdade, that was psychographed by two mediums, Waldo Vieira and Chico Xavier. And that happened 60 years ago, in 1960 to 61. Now, the free translation released to you here in our therapeutic conversations. In this 104 message book, there are a few of them that we have not relayed to you yet because they are more related to parents. So the good spirits at Cardiac Radio have asked us since the beginning to skip those messages and prepare a special edition, Parenting Edition. And isn't that interesting? Because when we started it, we didn't calculate, and this is exactly the week of Mother's Day. The spirits know better, the good spirits can see farther ahead. And today we begin with this message by the spirit Meimei, who is a wonderful educator of the beyond. And she comes to support parents, educators in their mission. It is a mission. Did you know it? Parents, grandparents, our children are our responsibility, you know. But the greatest mission comes, as St. Augustine says, in the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 9, verse item 14. He says that we will inevitably, we will fulfill our mission as parents when we connect our children to God. And that's what many people don't do on earth. Especially nowadays when we think, oh, they will grow up and choose what they want. No, bad choice. From the get-go, we need to bring God to our lives and then inevitably share it with them. At all times, showing our trust and faith in God. A great reference you will find in the book Paul and Stephen in the first 3 chapters, when the adorable Stephen, then Jeziel, and his daughter, his sister, Abigail, they show to us their resilience and endurance thanks mostly to the mother's teachings about God and our surrender to God. Just read the book and we'll see. Today, Meimei comes to talk about our children, other people's children, and especially the underprivileged children, the sick children. She inspired herself in a particular item of chapter 8 of the Gospel according to Spiritism. Blessed are the pure of the heart. That's the chapter in the Gospel according to Spiritism. Item 3 says, purity of the heart is inseparable from simplicity and humility, and it excludes every thought of selfishness and pride. That is why Jesus uses childhood as a symbol of such purity, just as he uses it as a symbol of humility. Of course, Jesus did not say we need to be children to enter the kingdom of God, but to be like them, says Kardec. We're talking about selfishness and pride. How often we treat our children way better than anybody else's child, right? That's pride and selfishness. Today, Meimei brings us an exercise of the heart. After all, it's the spirit of truth. Are you ready? We'll go straight to the message. Few paragraphs. We're going to read and meditate together on it. She says, you She's talking to you and I. You cherish in your arms the healthy child that home brought you. And of course, you're proud of that living pearl. Fingers resemble blooming flowers. The eyes bring sparkles from the stars. The hair recalls streaks of light, and the mouth resembles the pearly shell when your kisses of tenderness faints with love. Embrace your child against your chest as heavenly treasure, but extend compassionate hands to the sick little ones who come to earth, like lilies bruised by the hail of suffering. For many of them, the clear day still comes a long way. They are blind birds that do not know their nest. They are mutilated birds begging for help in the dark corners of the jungles of the world. Sometimes they look like angels nailed to the cross of a paralyzed body, or they show in their eyes deep sadness of the mind, clouded with dense darkness. There are those who say that they must be exterminated so that humankind does not need to worry about them. But God, that is perfect goodness, entrusted, entrusted us, entrusted them to us today, so that tomorrow life may rise more beautiful. Therefore, in the face of your little son, blessed by comfort, think of them. They are our children of the heart who come back from past existences, begging for understanding and affection so they get rid of debts contracted with themselves. But do not wait for them to beg for your compassion, since for now they only know how to suffer and weep. Be compassionate and help them as much as you can. And every time you offer them the hour of assistance or the crumb of service, the warm bed or the milk bottle, the garment or the caress of baby powder, you will realize that the joy of the eternal good envelops your soul in the perfume of gratitude and the melody of blessing. Without charity, there is no salvation. We won't be happy being selfish. I remember as Meimei is describing these children who are sick. When I moved to the United States, I started volunteering at the University of Maryland Hospital at the pediatrics department. And I remember seeing those children who were sick in their crib without the parents because they had to work, they couldn't be there. They were alone. And they needed volunteers to keep them company, to talk to them. Sometimes they couldn't talk because they were too young. But I remember especially this young boy. He was only 2 years old. He was only in diapers. He had this all these things connected to him. And I remember feeling, what would the parents feel being at work, not being able to be with the sick child? There are so many sorrows in this world. Refugee children who are in refugee camps in conditions we cannot even imagine. Mother's Day is coming, and we think of the mothers who have sick children in the hospitals. And the Ronald McDonald program, spread out in the United States, assisting families who have children undergoing treatments far away from home, and how often they need volunteers to fix them breakfast. During the pandemic, I agree with you. Vanessa, we can't volunteer all that much physically, but let's reinvent the volunteering. Maybe we cannot go there physically, but we can send them a meal. We can send them what they need, and that's a relief. Or to the people who are directly caring for them, so they pass it on to them. God bless. It's teamwork effort. So we need to reinvent a way to find out. If we Google it, there are several shelters spread out. It's just a phone call away, an email away, and ask them what do they need. And we provide and buy online and deliver if you can. But if you say, but Vanessa, I can't. I don't have the resources to do it. It's okay. See what you have in your house and find somebody to give. Somebody who has a child. It's very important that we think of those who need more than ourselves. She says it's okay for us to be joyful with the children that God conceded to us in this life. She says, yes, embrace your child against your chest as a heavenly treasure because this child is not ours, it's God's. Mhm. So that feeling of not only the attachment, but real attachment, connection. It's like not attachment, I'm sorry, it's connection with everyone. This morning, as we were reading this message to prepare for this program, Mentor Joseph came to me and said, Vanessa, we need to take a step before you do the program. Let's call the Birthright Organization, an organization that the Spirit Side of Virginia has been helping for so many years. And we called them and we asked, what do you need? They said, oh, we need diapers for newborns. We need diapers size 6. We need the diaper cream. And I asked, what about the mother, since Mother's Day is coming? Well, they need, and then I was so touched. I'm sharing this with you. I know it's personal, but I was deeply moved. She said they need, if you can, the individual packets of Epsom salt. So, because the pregnant moms as well, to help them not only relax, but take away the toxins and also uh, help with swollen feet. And then I thought, wow, you forget that people have needs that we may not have at this point. So it's important, she says, Meimei, be compassionate. Extend your compassionate hands to the sick little ones who came to the earth. Yes, there is a reason for them to be in that state, but it's not on us to discuss. And some people think that sick children who are even born in that way, they are a waste. No. Read the book Action and Reaction. We're going to understand several different cases. It's a blessing because, as Mimi said, God is perfect goodness. Perfect. God doesn't make a mistake. Doesn't make a mistake. If God allows us to be sick, it's not punishment. It's opportunity for readjustment. Only those who deserve it receive it. In this pandemic. You may know people who have children who are sick, and not necessarily sick, paralyzed, but they have ADHD, they have autism, they have something, and we can give these parents a hand. Sometimes giving them gifts, even if they have everything, or sending a meal so these parents can rest a little in the midst of the doing of the caring of children. Previous lives give a reason to what is happening, but today, Meimei trusts that we're going to understand and do something. She says, do not wait for them to beg for compassion. For now, they only know how to suffer and weep. Sometimes people don't knock on our doors because they're suffering. They don't have, when you're suffering, you don't have energy to say, please help. Because you don't even know where to find help. Be compassionate as and help them as much as you can. As much as we can means much, really much, not little. In a book that we were studying yesterday, named Harvest of Medium's Harvest, we've studied this here at Kardec Radio, and you can listen or watch in our platforms, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud. There is a particular chapter 10 in which Emmanuel emphasizes for us, spiritists, to do the good is invariably something to be done. We can't postpone it. There is no too much doing the good. There's always too little. So she says, the consequence, every time you spend your hour giving crumbs or an hour, because we think we're giving so much, it's like a crumb of service or a little hour of assistance. It's going to give them what they need. And to us, we're going to feel the joy, she says, of the eternal good enveloping our soul in the perfume of gratitude and the melody of blessing. Let's listen to this, the perfume of gratitude and the melody of blessing. We need good vibrations. We need good memories in our lives. We need to build friendships. We need to build relationships without any expectation of receiving anything in return. So today, Meimei is inviting all of us, parents, educators, grandparents, everyone, to think of somebody else's child who is in need. Someone who needs help. We have 24 hours to go after them. You and I in this task force of the good. We're going to thank Meimei for bringing to us the sweetness of the opening of this parenting edition of the Spirit of Truth. And we hope we meditate very deeply on how to support families in their mission of being parents, of parenting their children. We wish you a wonderful day in this compassionate effort. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow here at Kardec Radio, where we're always loving one another, yes, loving God, nourishing our souls. Thank you, friends.